So, in your opinion, what's the broader impact of banks refusing to support crypto?
It forces traders into informal networks and third party payment solutions, which can be risky. Plus, it slows down crypto adoption because mainstream users find it really difficult to get started.
Welcome to Blockchain की बात NetCap के साथ, the podcast where we break down complex blockchain topics into easy to understand conversation. I am Angela, and today we are diving into a burning issue that's been troubling the Indian crypto community: P2P account freezes. Well, imagine this: you sell some Bitcoin via P2P platform, receive INR in your bank account, and then the next day, your account is frozen. No warnings, no explanation, just a sudden halt on your funds. What's causing this? What patterns are triggering these freezes? And most importantly, how can traders protect themselves? To help us navigate this issue, I have with me blockchain expert in the field, Ruchi. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Excited to discuss this really important topic. I believe this is something that every Indian crypto trader should be aware of.
Alright, let's start with the big question. Why are Indian banks suddenly freezing accounts involved in INR-based P2P crypto transactions?
The primary reason is regulatory uncertainty. While crypto isn't illegal in India, it is also not fully regulated. So the RBI has issued multiple warnings to banks about suspicious transactions, and many banks are proactively flagging high volume or unusual INR transactions as a precaution. Also, banks don't officially support crypto, so they make mistake on the side of caution. If they see a pattern of transactions that suggest P2P crypto trading, like multiple incoming, small value deposits followed by a withdrawal, they might freeze the account to investigate.
So, even if a trader is following all the rules, they can still get caught up in this mess.
Unfortunately, yes. The banking system isn't designed to differentiate between genuine transactions and high risk ones when it comes to crypto.
Okay, so that brings us to the next question. What are the red flags? What specific INR transaction patterns could get someone's account frozen?
One major red flag is multiple small deposits from different accounts followed by an immediate large withdrawal. Banks see this as a potential money laundering pattern. Another pattern is frequent high value transactions with different counterparties in a short period. So, if you're regularly receiving INR from multiple strangers, it can raise suspicion.
So, what's the best way to avoid these triggers?
Keep transaction records, use proper invoices, and if possible, limit P2P transactions to a single bank account. Also, avoid using personal accounts for large trading volumes. Consider business accounts if you're trading professionally.
Okay, so let's assume someone's account does get frozen. What should they do?
First, don't panic. Contact your bank and ask for clarification. In some cases, they just need to verify the nature of the transaction. Additionally, be more transparent. If you've been trading crypto, explain your activity, provide transaction records, and show some proof of legitimate sources of your funds.
Well, can legal assistance help in these cases?
Absolutely. A lawyer specializing in financial laws can draft a response explaining that your transactions comply with Indian laws.
So, in your opinion, what's the broader impact of banks refusing to support crypto?
It forces traders into informal networks and third party payment solutions, which can be risky. Plus, it slows down crypto adoption because mainstream users find it really difficult to get started.
Well, there are some traders using third party accounts to bypass freezes. What's the risk in that?
Huge risks. If an account linked to you gets flagged for suspicious activity, you could be legally liable. And if the third party decides to run away with your funds, you have no legal recourse.
So the bottom line is sticking to your own verified accounts, right?
Absolutely.
So, my final question is, what does the future hold for P2P trading in India?
The government may eventually regulate crypto more clearly, but until then, traders must be cautious. Adoption of crypto-friendly alternatives like stablecoins, DeFi solutions will grow.
So staying informed is the key.
100%. And so is using smart trading strategies to avoid unnecessary risks.
Well, that's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks to our listeners. Stay safe and trade wisely. See you next time on Crypto Clarity. Alright, that wraps up today's episode of Crypto Unfiltered. If you found this useful, share it with your fellow traders and follow us for more deep dives into the crypto world.
This has been an insightful session. Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners?
Sure. Crypto trading in India is still evolving, and while there are risks, there are also new opportunities, whether it's stablecoin or shifting strategies in P2P trading. Staying informed will always be the key. Regulations will play a huge role. So, traders must be proactive in understanding compliance while also exploring decentralized alternatives, I believe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ruchi, for breaking this down. And for our listeners, if you found this episode valuable, don't forget to follow Blockchain Ki Baat Netcap ke saath. We'll be back soon with more deep dives into the future of blockchain and emerging tech. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed.